Hey guys, Jarek and Mookie here, and hey, I got some Halo 5 beta for you. So I got about 3 different games on Midship, or they call it Truth now. It's pretty much just a Midship remake, which I'm totally okay with. One of the concerns people are having is that the 2 maps that are in the beta are basically remixes of old maps, which, honestly, I'm okay with that. I've not been a fan with Halo maps as the games have gone on. It feels like the maps have just gotten worse with each game. So I'm fine with remaking old maps that were good.
Yes, Midship was definitely a pinnacle of competitive Halo 2.
So yeah, I want to address a lot of the concerns that older Halo players have had with Halo 5, because I am one of them. I definitely had a lot of concerns with this game before I actually played any of the beta. I want to make it very obvious that playing the game and watching the game are 2 different things. It feels very different when you're watching it compared to playing it. When you're watching it, honestly, I had the impression that this is Halo meets Call of Duty. I had that impression a lot, and then I played it, and it's honestly more Halo than anything else. It just looks different.
Yes.
Now, the first thing I want to address is the, quote-unquote ADS, which, I mean, I guess it's ADS, but...
Aim down sight, smart scope, whatever they want to call it these days.
In all reality, it's the same thing we've always had, but now it has an animation to it.
Yeah, it's just cosmetic. It's a cosmetic change.
And I'm actually completely okay with it, so it doesn't block my screen entirely, and on top of that, it works... Well, it doesn't work differently than before, but it feels... It gives you a little bit more feedback as to how much you're actually zoomed in. Like, the battle rifle doesn't zoom in as far as the DMR. So it kind of gives me more feedback than I had before, or at least makes it more obvious. So yeah, if that was a concern, it works the same exact way as it did in every other Halo game ever. A lot of people were complaining about the spread when aiming down the sights with the SMG and the assault rifle, but that's kind of always been there since Halo 2. When you're not looking through the scope, it's less accurate with the battle rifle, but, now that the SMG and the assault rifle has it, everyone's, like, freaking out.
I think the Halo 3 ODST SMG that actually had the scope did this strange thing where the spread of the gun was scaled with how much you zoomed in. So it kind of makes sense if they're doing that in this game, because
I saw a post online talking. It showed a picture of not scoped and scoped, bullet imprints on the wall. It's really not that drastic of a difference. I will say the SMG is amazing. That much I will say. This thing is a bullet hose. I love the SMG so far from what I've used. I'm not really a big fan as to why they didn't bring back the Halo 2 SMG. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Like, this SMG has sort of the same silhouette, but it's got
it's basically a P90. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why they changed it, because I would be entirely okay with just bringing back the Halo 2 pistol, the Halo 2 assault rifle, SMG, whatever you want to call it.
With the side clip. The side clip is badass.
Clip?
They're the magazine.
It was really cool. It was a really cool design, so I'm disappointed they didn't bring that back, but that's cosmetic complaints, and it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So you can scope in on the assault rifle. I probably should address that. But the immediate thing I noticed is that holding the trigger down with the assault rifle while you're scoped in is not favorable. And if they have a battle rifle or a DMR, you're not going to win. It gives you a little bit more range, but you definitely have to tap fire. It has so much recoil that you can't just hold the trigger down and be insanely accurate, and it just doesn't work as well as a battle rifle or a DMR. When I first started playing this game, I was actually concerned, because at first it felt like automatics were too easy and the semi-autos were too hard. I've changed my mind on that after I've gotten a little bit of experience. I'm actually happy at this, because they've toned down the aim assist with the semi-autos and the battle rifle a lot.
Good. I feel like the games have been way too heavy with the auto aim and magnetism and all that stuff as of late. So it's nice to see that change. Yeah,
the DMR is very awkward. I was actually really happy at this because the DMR was... I'm still freaking ass mad about the DMR launch Halo 4.
How it was the best thing ever.
It was so easy to use at any range. When the DMR is beating an assault rifle point blank, there's a problem here.
Now, the question is it too bad? Like, is it
No,
not...
it's effective within its certain ranges. It's definitely more difficult to use up close, but at long range, if you have a BMR, if you have a battle rifle and they have a DMR, the DMR is probably going to win at long range. It is really startling when you get hit by it. Like, it shakes your screen pretty violently and immediately unscopes you just as any other Halo game would. But yeah, it definitely feels like the heavier the bullet, the more it visually annoys you.
So how do you feel about the bringing back of Descope?
You know, I can't see them doing anything else. I've honestly never really been a big fan of descoping, because once you become unscoped, everything's less accurate. So I felt like it doesn't really favor the person that got the first shot or the drop on the other person. So I don't have a common opinion about this, but I'm not going to complain about it because I expected them to do that.
Of course.
I'm one of the weird, rare people that preferred flinch.
Well, Halo 4 had flinch, and the community
went crazy and hated it. So I really can't get mad that they brought back descoping at all.
Okay.
In general, this game feels much more like Halo than Halo 4 did. It still has that arena feel. The beta doesn't have any loadouts, which is good, in my opinion. I was more indifferent about the loadouts than anything, but that's not Halo, you know?
Of course, yeah.
So I'm glad that the loadouts seem to be gone. I'm hoping it'll stay that way. I'm not sure if it will or won't.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, maybe for particular playlists, but hopefully across the board.
Something other people have been complaining about, and this is minor yet does also make a very big difference in kind of immersion levels. The opening sequence and the ending sequence of Brody STs. Which is the most silliest, out-of-character things for Spartans possible. And I understand what people are complaining, because why do you have to have those animations? It's the stupidest thing possible. But I do like the concept in general, because I have a very common problem in Halo of forgetting what team I'm on, because it never really tells you. You have to melee and be like, oh, I'm on red team. And I will constantly be like, I'm on red team, and look at blue team, and just stare at someone on the blue team for the longest time and be like, oh shit, that's not the right team.
Yeah.
But now by showing me, you know, your team, it's like, I'm on red team, thank you for reminding me.
Of course, of course. I think the most jarring thing about those animations is, as you said, the whole bro aspect of it. Because
they're like frat boys. It's like...
They totally are.
It's so out of place.
Like, Spartans in all of the Halo games have been these badass, like, silent warriors who are known for being antisocial and just try to get the job done. Whereas in this game, they're all like, yeah, what now? And they're giving each other like high fives and stuff.
It's like Halo meets Gears of War. Yeah. It's exactly what it feels like, and I really don't. I hope the single player doesn't stay that way. I'm pretty sure the single player won't be anything like that, and I hope that's true.
Of course.
But yeah, the game in general, as I've said many times, it's more Halo. That guy should have died. It's more Halo than anything else. So I'm pleasantly surprised, and this is what we're talking about. Like,
hey, what's going on? Yeah.
This is not. These are not Spartans. Why?
Oh my good lord.
Okay, so this match on Midship was I think like my third match or something like that. It was a okay game. I had better games, but I thought it was good enough to upload just to get some more gameplay. I have a few other games I want to get to, so let's go ahead and skip forward to those. Here's the next game on Midship. There's a lot of things I want to talk about in this game. I mean, you could go on for a very, very long time about the differences between, you know, Halo 5 and previous Halo games, and how Halo 4 took a pretty big step away from previous Halo games, and it didn't... It's almost like the difference between Infinity Ward Call of Duty and Treyarch Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
It feels very, very different. This, honestly, I feel more like this is what Halo 4 should have been. It's still Halo. It doesn't take too big of a step away, yet it improves on what we already have and adds new features without being intrusive and annoying.
Yes, I think one of the main problems that I had with Halo 4 is it felt like it didn't try to improve on anything. It just added fluff.
Too many features, too many annoying random elements you couldn't predict for. Ended up getting you killed a lot of the time because you turned the corner and someone had some random, or someone saw you through a wall because of Promethean vision, which you totally have the choice to use, but who the hell used anything else for the most part? These things were so annoying. They did not need to be there, and I feel like this... I could say the same thing about armor abilities and reach, but they were a little bit less intrusive than that.
Of course. And the abilities in this game, everybody has them. So everybody has them at their disposal. So nobody's at a disadvantage, so to speak.
At its core, the base setup for the game is still... It's more old Halo. You have a map, everyone starts with the same thing, weapons are placed on certain parts of the map, you go for the weapons, and you know, it's more old-fashioned Halo than anything else, which I'm happy to see. As much as I enjoyed... Okay, I'm happy to see this because 343 is taking weapon balance to an extreme.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I'm happy about, because that's always been my biggest complaint about previous Halo games, is that you had no reason to use anything else other than, like, the battle rifle. And if you spawned with an SMG, you were screwed.
Yeah.
Whereas in this game, you spawn with an assault rifle, and you can actually fight back. Now, if they have a battle rifle, they have an advantage, but it's not as severe as an advantage as it used to be.
Yeah, the AR has moved away from being sort of this spray and pray weapon that you don't really have any range with to more of a...
It's an in-between of an SMG and a battle rifle. That's what it's exactly what it feels like. If you try to spray and pray at range, you will miss. The recoil will push you above the target, and it kind of recoil side to side a little bit too. So if they're farther away, you do need to tap fire to actually hit them. But if they are up close, you can sort of spray from the hip. So it fills that role of an assault rifle. That's how assault rifles should be. The SMG though, I feel like almost negates the assault rifle.
How do you mean? Like if you have an SMG... It
sprays bullets, so it really is spray and pray, and it sprays bullets so fast that if I have the option to use the SMG or the assault rifle, I'm going to drop my assault rifle and keep my pistol for range.
Of course.
I feel like I can outgun someone with an SMG that has an assault rifle at any range, which probably should be changed because an SMG is an up-close killing machine, not a all-around go-screw-yourself weapon.
Yeah. But hey, it's for now, it's deliciously overpowered. So.
It's so fun to use for now.
Yeah.
But again, this is a beta. Things probably will change. The first thing I noticed with the beta when I booted to the main menu, Jaggies everywhere. It looked like there was no anti-aliasing, and there was either one or two reasons. The first one is less likely, is that there really is just no anti-aliasing, and there will be Jaggies in the final game, and they're trying to push graphical fidelity to its extreme. Oh, that guy got stuck.
Oh, that stick though.
But they're trying to push graphical fidelity and make the game look as good as possible, and not really worry about the resolution and FPS. I don't think this is what's actually happening. What I think is just happening is that the beta isn't running at 1080p because it's just a beta.
Yeah, this beta is actually quite a ways out from when the game's actually going to be released, so they have a lot of time to work on things and start polishing things up.
Basically, it's actually a beta.
Yep. It's a real beta,
So
guys.
many companies use a beta as like, hey, get hyped for our game, like how Battlefield used to. I'm glad Battlefield has moved away from this now. The Hardline beta was legitimately a beta. Like, they have changed so many things since the beta, and I don't want to talk about that too much because we'll be getting too far away from Halo by doing that. But yeah, this is actually a beta, and this is
a beta. Yes, it's not demo with the word beta slapped on.
Yes, my assumption is that this game is running somewhere probably around, I don't know, 792 or 900p, not 1080, and that's intentional for I don't know what beta reasoning.
Who knows?
Probably just making the file sizes smaller, things like that.
Some junk like that. Keeping things aren't optimized right now, I wouldn't imagine.
Yeah, that too. The frame rate would probably dip terribly if they raised it. So
yep.
It just looks like it's up-resed, and I wouldn't worry about that too much until we actually know. This sword, though, alright, I'm not a fan. I'm gonna be honest. It is amazingly overpowered. Like, way more than previous Halo games. The fact that you always have sprint and the thruster pack... like, people can't stop you. And there's also another thing I hate about it. One, it looks like a fucking chode. It looks so stupid and silly.
It's weird. It's all swervy and curly.
It's short. It's fat. It's a chode. It's the chode sword. It looks so bad.
Prophet's chode.
And the other thing, and this is the most annoying and intrusive thing about the sword, so much bloom.
Oh, I'm noticing that. Yes.
It is legitimately difficult to see what is happening on the screen when you have the sword out because it is so bright and blocks the entire right side of your screen. It's intrusive. I don't know if this was their attempt of balancing in the sword and making it not as overpowered, but my goodness, that's really annoying.
BF3 sword.
It really is like you're holding the miniature sun.
Yes.
So it really is Battlefield 3 again. And the trade kills are still real.
Yep.
It seems like I've been getting a lot less trade kills than previous Halo games, so that's good, I guess. I don't know how to feel with that. I guess I'll have to play it more to really know if that's good or bad. But trade kills are still there. I've never complained about this before, because I would prefer to get a trade kill instead of lose a kill due to latency or something.
Of course, latency should never impact a fight. Or it should impact it as little as possible, rather.
When you get shot, and I'm pretty sure this actually works this way, it feels like you're getting shot by the plasma rifle in Halo 1. Like, it feels like it slows you down. I don't know if that is only happening when you're sprinting, or if that happens when you're walking. So
they've tried to balance sprint so that when you're in a firefight with somebody, it's more like OG Halo, where you didn't have sprint.
And you couldn't just run away like a little bitch and survive.
Yeah, exactly. They tried to balance that. So basically, the way I understand it is there's kind of a wind-up time to the sprint, right? And if you get shot during that wind-up time, you get knocked out of your sprint. And if you're sprinting while your shields are down, your shields won't recharge until after you've stopped sprinting for however long it takes for your shields to start recharging.
Which is something I noticed. And at first when I heard that, I was like, alright, I'm happy that they're making attempts to balance and sprint better. I'm not sure if I still really want sprint to be in Halo, but I guess I'll play it and see. I'm kind of indifferent about it now. You know, I've played it enough to realize that it's not typically too big of a deal to have sprint anymore if their shields don't come back, because you can still turn the corner and destroy them. And I haven't had an experience, because there's no shotguns in this, I haven't had an experience where you turn the corner and get bullshit killed by someone that I dropped their shields and should have had that kill.
Of course.
So far I like what they've done when it comes to balancing sprint into the game. It's definitely much better than sprint was in Halo 4, which in Halo 4 it turned into drop my shields, I'm going to sprint around the corner and wait for you with a bolt shot.
Yeah.
Which is so stupid.
So ridiculous.
That should never happen. It really... This seems to keep it intact between guns, grenades, melee. It seems to keep that in check, whereas Halo 4 is basically all guns, all grenades. And melee felt like a hazard to even try it.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and move on to the third game. You know, if I had to describe Halo 5 as short as possible, it kind of feels like a faster Halo 3 to me.
That's actually good. So kind of more like the Halo 2 sort of style of play, just with less BXR and button glitches.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
You already know my opinion about that. There's a lot of cosmetical changes in this game that I actually like. For instance, when you reload the battle rifle or the assault rifle, when you completely run out of ammo. Now, Halo 4 always did this, where the reloading animation was different when you completely ran out of ammo, which is something that I like, because that's a big pet peeve of mine, is when developers make it so that the reload is always the same, or you always cock the gun even though you don't need to. That genuinely kind of annoys me. But, you know, the reload is different when you completely run out of ammo in Halo 5. And on top of this is something that bothered me in previous Halo games. When you ran out of ammo entirely in the magazine in, say, the assault rifle, after he put the mag back in, he just pushed the bolt forward. That's not how a bolt catch works. That wouldn't go anywhere if you tried to push the bolt forward. You'd just be hitting the catch. You need to pull it back, which is what they do in this game. So, that keeps me happy. Yeah. I know it's a really small change that doesn't mean anything to the gameplay, but that was just a huge pet peeve of mine.
Well, I'd say it does affect gameplay because the animation times could be different. So there could be cases where you want to tactically reload as opposed to letting your clip completely empty, and vice versa.
Yeah, but that's different from what I'm talking about.
Ah, I gotcha.
Something else, the announcer is not old announcer, which, you know, for some reason I wasn't really expecting it to be old announcer, and it kind of annoys me that it's not old announcer, because the new one is like, this is like Billy Mays meets the Halo announcer. What the hell? Why is he on crack now?
Dude, like, it's the same voice actor and all, but yeah, he did a line of coke. And he went into the recording studio.
And now I feel bad for making that Billy Mays comparison.
Oh, jeez. How could you? Too soon.
But yeah, it's still the same goofy one, and sometimes he sounds straight up creepy. Like, the Perfection medal is like, why are you... Like, what the hell? Are you turned on by this?
Like, what does he sound like? I haven't heard it.
I'm not even going to try to replicate it. It's just, you gotta play it. No, I might play it back sometime in this video, maybe at the end, just so you can hear it, because I did get a few. I do like the metal idea, Though I'm starting to feel like we're getting too many medals in Halo games now, because I swear after every kill I get a medal.
Yeah, if it's one thing I noticed, like in Halo 3 and Halo 2 and I think even Reach, like you always checked your medals because they were relevant to your combat and like how well you did. Because they were actually for doing something important, like, you know, double kills, killing sprees, that kind of stuff. Like that's what people want to see out of medals. Like everything else, I don't know, sword kill medal. Like I guess that's all right, but at the same time,
I don't need a medal for killing with the sword. I want a medal for using a sword entirely and getting 10 kills with the sword. I don't want a medal for just getting a kill with the sword.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm getting too many accolades for things that I don't deserve.
3 medals right there.
Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah.
There was somewhere else I was going with this, and I don't quite remember what it was. But yeah, there is definitely way too many medals now. And it literally is. Every single kill you get, there is a medal. So, this map, like I said, is basically Midship. The back is changed a little bit. Not too much. Where the gravity lift is, and where you can drop down. Where you drop down is basically just like a hole in the back, instead of like there always being a space you can actually walk behind and fall into. So I like that change. And the gravity lift, I like the gravity lift a lot more. It's much faster.
So what I'm noticing about this map...
here's the ADS of the DMR.
Okay,
you can tell how much farther you scope in with it. It's actually quite a bit more difficult to use up close. You know, hip firing with it is fine, but using it up close is... there's no lock-on. Or if there is aim assist, there's very little of it. Which makes me happy, because the aim assist in Halo 4 was ridiculous even from the hip up close.
Yeah.
So it's very toned down. And this, I don't know what happened there. I pressed the melee button because I wanted to see if I could get an assassination, and it made me boost.
That is the shoulder bash. Basically, when you're sprinting forward and you hit melee, like.
But I didn't hit melee was the problem. Oh wait, no, okay. That's actually kind of annoying. Then.
Yeah, it's a little bit intrusive, I feel, for OG Halo players, but once you understand that it's there, like, it should be less annoying and more manageable. It's just something
Wouldn't
new
that make it like impossible
to
to assassinate people if you're sprinting behind them then?
Yeah, actually, it would.
Yeah, so I'm not okay with that.
True.
That's something that I found kind of... when it happened, I didn't know what happened. Because I'm using bumper jumper, and I just thought that possibly it went back to like default controls for a moment and was just glitchy because of beta, and I wasn't quite sure. So, I don't know. That's something I'm not a big fan of.
Nah, it's a thing. You can do that with like any weapon. There's a lot of weird
I feel like
things.
shoulder bash should just happen if you boost towards someone.
Yeah, like you hit the boost button while you're
sprinting yeah, because sprinting is toggle, so you can entirely do that.
Yeah.
So, I'm not entirely sure why they decided to do that. There must be some problem that they thought of, like it would be too cheap to sprint in melee. I don't know why they would think that.
I can't say for sure.
Because wasn't it
odd decisions?
Maybe they're thinking of like Reach, where if you sprint in melee, did slightly more damage. I don't know. The DMR. So I don't know if you've noticed, but they added kind of like a trail behind it now when you shoot.
The bullet trail, yeah.
Yeah, it almost looks like a mini sniper.
Which is kind of interesting because that's the point of a DMR.
Yeah, that's how it feels now. It definitely feels more like it's a ranged weapon. It is more difficult to use up close. It encourages you with how much you scope in to use it farther away. It has a lot of recoil too. Definitely more recoil than before.
Which is good.
I'm not really a big fan of the pistol though.
Yeah, something about the pistol feels a little bit weak, doesn't it?
Not necessarily that it's weak, just that it's hard to hit people with. Like, really hard. Like, it feels like there's almost no aim assist. And I don't even know how much damage it does, because just hitting people with it is kind of difficult. Like, even when you're up close, it doesn't seem like to have much aim assist. When you're trying to hit people farther away, there's none at all. Like, it's obviously, there's none. Like, if I'm standing up at the top of Midship looking across that bridge to the other side, there's no aim assist to help me with that.
It's strange.
I'm not sure why they would decide to do that, because that would make it difficult to fight back. It pretty much makes it so that you have no reason to use anything but the assault rifle, because you can still use the assault rifle at range, so... It completely goes against my Halo 1 logic.
Pretty much every Halo game, except for 2, let's not even talk about 2, has had a beast pistol. Like, I'm noticing this one's more of an oh shit, I don't really have anything else to use sort of weapon.
Yes, it is obviously a backup.
Yes.
And really nothing more, which is disappointing. As you've probably noticed, I drop it immediately. The only time I don't drop is if I like run across an SMG, then I drop my assault rifle because I have no reason to have an assault rifle with the SMG.
It's interesting that they decided to go with the sort of look that they did with the pistol, because the iron sights on the front are just like what?
It doesn't look like the Halo pistol. Like it looks like a very slim version of it, really.
Yeah, like the Halo 1 light pistol or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say?
The Halo 1 light.
Yes.
That's probably the best way to describe it. I'm not a fan of it. And it kind of disappoints me because being the Halo 1 fan I am, I want that pistol back so badly.
Of course.
But I mean, I guess I can understand the reasoning for doing it, because how are you going to fit that in with the DMR and the battle rifle already there?
Yeah,
they could give it a little bit more range, but make it so that it actually serves a point instead of, oh, well, I'm just going to use the assault rifle even if they're at range. Because if you tap fire it, you can still hit them.
I could see the pistol being like somewhere between the assault rifle and battle rifle, just with, you know, tap fire instead of like burst or auto, like the BR and AR.
But yeah, I haven't used it that much. I just found it to be not too effective in general. So I'll have to experiment with it up close and see how well it fares, but for now it seems to be more of a sidearm than anything else. But hey, there's been some Halo 5 beta. I got another video after this, and possibly be uploading more after that. Not entirely sure, but I will be keeping you guys updated.
Perfect.